another edition of Straight Shooting Sports Talk, and I am your host, Dujane Bland. And today we're going to just kind of break down the Monday night matchup we have here with the Saints and the Falcons. We're going to talk about a little bit of the injuries that are going on around the league, and we're also going to talk about some of this quarterback play that has been going on this past Sunday around the NFL. Now, first we have tonight's matchup, the Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints. And this is a 10-year anniversary of the return to the Dome after Katrina. And so there's going to be some hype, some big time enjoy coming into this matchup. We all know how this matchup plays out. Both teams, no matter what their records are, play each other extremely hard. And the Dome is a tough place to play. New Orleans Saints are 0-2 right now coming into this game. And the Atlanta Falcons are 1-1. The New Orleans Saints were historically bad on defense last year. And this year they start off not exactly where they would like to be. They're 25 and 21st in total points. Not good. Giving about 25 points a game. They allow 336 passing yards and 115 rushing yards. That's not good. And then they have 7 starters, a few on defense, a few on offense that will not be playing tonight. The defensive ones are going to be at the corner and linebacker positions. And those are 2 key positions. It's an area where they like to use their linebackers at times to cover, sometimes to get pressure, etc. And Kenny Vaccaro, we know he's a big time player as well in the DP area. And they need all the help that they can get, especially facing Mohamed Sanu and even though a nicked up Julio Jones. Still dynamic wide receivers there. And you add in the running back core that they have, Matt Ryan and that offense have the ability to put up yards in a hurry. But the Atlanta Falcons defense hasn't done as well either. They're 29th in points, 20 almost 30 points a game. They're allowing about 290 yards passing, 24th in the league, and they're allowing 122 yards rushing, which is 23rd in the league. So both of these defenses are struggling early in the season, giving up a lot of rushing yards, a fair amount of passing yards, more obviously the Saints giving up more than the Falcons at 336 yards. So this has the makings of being an absolute barn burner and a shootout here. You say, well, what are the keys to this game? Well, keys for the New Orleans Saints is to put points up on the board and put them up early. We know when the Falcons get behind, we know that with Kyle Shanahan, it can be a mixed bag of things, and sometimes they can outsmart themselves. They can just simply slow down the run, make them a one-dimensional team. I think this gives the Saints an opportunity to come away with a win here. We know that with Matt Ryan in that red zone, he struggled a lot with throwing interceptions. That's an area where he needs to improve. He's done that on occasion in the first 2 games, especially in the first game, which was very costly. And they'll be looking to try to make him do that again. It's very important that they make them one-dimensional. Now, for the Falcons side, their biggest issue is having a balanced offense, attacking the Saints defense, taking advantage of the matchups, the mismatches that they can create. I think it's getting Jacob Tamme involved as well. Getting a little tight end action. We know how Kyle Shanahan likes to run his offense, utilizing the tight end there. Tamme has been a really good option and somebody that I think they're going to attack and use that middle of the field, especially with a few guys missing in that defense. But we have an opportunity to see a lot of points scored tonight, and I think it's going to be the winner of this game is going to be the person that can have that balance, can run the ball effectively. And I understand Drew Brees is on the other side, and sometimes you don't need a running game to win ball games. But um, I think it's going to be who's going to get that running game and have that balance going for them, keeping the defense off balance. Now, as you know, we picked on Friday, and I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. I just don't like what I see out of the Falcons. Very inconsistent. It's at home. The dome is very hard. I think they're going to split this season. I just think both home teams, when Falcons are home, they'll win their game. And here, I think it's going to be the New Orleans Saints to get the win tonight. Now, we've had a lot of injuries in the league this weekend, and some crucial ones, and some that are just very unfortunate for teams who, you know, San Diego. I mean, how much more can they take? You have Matt Tateo going down. Um, you had Keenan Allen going down. I mean, just key players falling all over the place. You have D'Angelo Hall for the Washington Redskins, who battled back from, he's had his share of injuries, and you hate to see a guy go down like that. Will it be the end for D'Angelo? Really, only time will tell. I never would count out D'Angelo Hall, especially with him moving back to safety. Safety's a really good position for guys who are getting later in their career, still have the skill, just don't have uh, the skill to cover one on one like they used to. D'Angelo's done an excellent job the time that he's been back there at safety, and I wouldn't count him out. I think he has an opportunity to come back, um, and only time will tell. And maybe he hangs it up. Who knows? But only time will tell, and it's going to be interesting to see what he chooses to do um, come next season. But there's been, I mean, you think about the injury aspect, and I know I've always thought that, why do these injuries keep happening? And I think just guys are just bigger, bigger and stronger. They move faster. There's more power in the person's body structure, legs, etc. And as we all know, you can strengthen a lot of things on your legs, and there's a lot of things that you can do with your knees as far as strengthening. But the only thing that cannot be strengthened is your ACL. So those always stay the same. So the bigger you are, the more torque and turning and explosive movements that you make, it's more susceptible that ACL could pop at any minute. We see it all the time with people's Achilles or the ACLs or whatever. There's sometimes they're just uh, non-contact injuries. Guys just making a cut or trying to come in and make a tackle. Now, for the few, there are like with the knee sprain of uh, Russell Wilson. There was a player landing on his leg. It was kind of awkward, and fortunately for him, it's just an MCL sprain. But you see a lot of those where they end up being an ACL tear. So he was very fortunate there. But I think guys are just getting bigger, and the bigger guys are, uh, these things are more likely to happen. And they really don't. I mean, they have an off season, but there's a lot of work being done during the off season, and I don't know if preseason plays too much of a role in that because, a lot of the starters don't play very much during that time. But I believe it's just the fact that guys are just like monsters out there. So that makes a difference when it comes to injuries. Now we've had some great quarterback play over the last couple of weeks. And Carson Wentz, they traded away their starter, what they thought was going to be their starter anyway, and Sam Bradford to the Minnesota Vikings for a first round pick and a conditional pick, which, of course, I mean, to this day, even though Sam has played pretty well over there, I still think a first round pick is too high. But again, desperate times call for desperate measures, and they had to do what they had to do in order to keep their team moving forward, especially with the defensive, abilities they have over there and in Minnesota. So that thrusted Carson Wentz right up to the front, and Carson has done an excellent job. Through 3 games, through 102 passes, he hasn't thrown an interception, and that's amazing work. And it's a credit to Doug Peterson, Frank Ritchie, quarterbacks coach, to really make sure every week that they're gathering a game plan, and that their quarterback is in full understanding of what he needs to do on a daily basis and on a weekly basis to be effective. And it's a threefold chord really. Each one of these teams, you look at the Dallas Cowboys, you look at, we talking about the Eagles here. You look at Trevor Siemian there in Denver. He has a little bit of a leg up on the other two because he had an opportunity to sit behind a great and Peyton Manning. But it's very important for these quarterbacks to pay attention to what's going on and to be immersed in what their craft is so that they can go out and produce and know what they're looking at and understand, have a good understanding of their offense and understand what they're looking at as far as in reference it to the defenses. But all these coaches deserve credit for what they have done with their quarterbacks. I mean, many thought that with the Eagles that this would be an issue, and a big issue being that Carson only played one preseason game in which he hurt himself and had that rib injury, was unable to play, and then had to start the first game. And that was only his second game that he would have played. And many thought that Chase Daniels would be the guy, but obviously they knew what they were doing. And this goes to guys studying and understanding and having a level of respect for their craft. Now, you have to be immersed in what you're doing and be focused on getting better every week. It's not just a matter of going out there and having the skills and the talent to go out and make plays. It's very important for these guys to be absolutely immersed, looking at the tape every week, spending countless hours doing that, understanding what they are seeing from a defensive standpoint, and having a very, very good understanding of their offense as well. So these guys deserve very good credit for, first of all, knowing their players. And we know that it's very important for a coach and his quarterback to have an opportunity to know what the strength of that player is so that they can be at their best when they're out there on the field. So we have seen some pretty awesome quarterback play over the last 3 weeks, and it's going to get tough as the weeks go on. They're going to make some mistakes, but they've done well in these first 3 weeks. Well, that's it for our show. We thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. And as always, you can get at me on Twitter at NotBland21. If you have any questions, you want to talk shop there, you can hit me up there, or you can send in questions to our email. That's straightshootingst@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to talk about it on our show. Thank you so much, and good night, guys.